What's up, Speak For Yourself listeners? It's your boy Shay Sharp, co-host of FS1's Undisputed. I wanted to tell you about my new podcast, Club Shay Shay, where we always do something before two something. Each week, I sit down with a guest for a drink and conversation, and as host and proprietor of Club Shay Shay, I've welcomed in esteemed guests such as Snoop Dogg, Floyd Money Mayweather, LeVar Ball, Isaiah Thomas, just to mention a few. Whether I'm talking to an athlete, a musician, an actor, or a lifelong friend, Club Shay Shay is a place where people share inspiring and motivational stories about their journeys to prominence. The new episode drops every Monday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to Club Shay Shay now and make sure you never miss a new episode. Now, back to Speak For Yourself.
And welcome to Speak For Yourself. Marcellus Wiley, a little early Easter up here right now with Emmanuel Acho. Yeah, okay. Nice watch, though. Nice watch. Everything else is kind of blurry over there. All right, let's get to our top story. We know what it is. Brought to you by Popeye's Chicken Sandwich. The wait is over. Dak Prescott and the Cowboys agreed to a 4-year deal for reportedly $160 million. The deal includes $126 million guaranteed and a record $66 million signing bonus. Damn, Dak. Dak will average $42 million per year in his first 3 seasons, which is just behind Patrick Mahomes. So, Acho, does Dak deserve this record-breaking contract? First of all, start off the right way.
Exactly. Let me start out like this. This is why I'm broke and you got money. This whole Dak Prescott saga is why Marcellus has the first parking spot when you pull into the complex.
Do I?
And I'm somewhere in the back like, Acho, is that you? Is that you?
In that dusty Bentley?
Exactly. That's the difference between you and I, sir. So kudos to you.
That's all I needed.
To you.
That's all I needed. I love it.
Okay, now let's get down to business.
Let's work.
Does Dak Prescott deserve the record-breaking contract? No.
Oh.
He doesn't. He doesn't. Kudos to Dak. Kudos to Todd Franz, Dak's agent.
Yes.
Kudos to everybody that loves Dak, his friends, his family.
Here we go.
Kudos to all them. But I have a job to do. And the fact of the matter is, does he deserve it? No. Let's look at some of the other massive deals and whether the players are deserving
That's where
or
you want
not.
to start.
Let's start there.
Okay.
And I'll start with Carson Wentz. Did he deserve it? Everybody would probably say no. But at least his Eagles, while he was on the roster, won a Super Bowl. Jared Goff, massive deal. Did he deserve it? People would probably look at it and say no. But at least the Rams, while he was on the roster starting at quarterback, went to a Super Bowl. Russell Wilson, massive deal. Does he deserve it? Most people would say yes. Russell Wilson has won a Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes, massive deal. Does he deserve it? Obviously, he does. He won a Super Bowl, future of the franchise. Deshaun Watson, massive deal. Does he deserve it? You could argue there. You could probably argue and lean on the side of no, but at least we know he is a top 5 or the 5th best quarterback in the National Football League. But does Deshaun Watson deserve it? You could make a great argument that no, he does not if you want to look at collective success.
Okay.
So now we land at Dak Prescott. The fact of the matter is, Marcellus, there is no argument, no statistic, no empirical data, no eyeball test, no film with study test that says Dak Prescott should be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. At no point in time.
He's not.
Does Dak Prescott, at no point in time, does Dak Prescott ever led the NFL in any statistical category?
Okay.
Not one.
Okay.
Not completion percentage, not touchdowns, not fewest interceptions, not passer rating. Literally not one time. Now, you could look at guys like Matthew Stafford, Matt Ryan, Jimmy Garoppolo, Kirk Cousins, who have all been highest paid quarterbacks. But even Matt Stafford, Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins have all led the NFL in one statistical category at some point in time. Just one. Not all, just one. Matthew Stafford, thank you, most completions in the season. Kirk Cousins, appreciate you, completion percentage in a season. Matt Ryan, thank you so much, completion percentage in a season. But when I look at Dak Prescott, Marcellus Wiley, at no point in time has he ever led in any statistical category. He hasn't led his team to a Super Bowl, nor has his team won a Super Bowl while he's on the roster. So, again, I don't think he deserves a record-breaking contract. I'm happy he got it. But did he deserve it? No.
Absolutely, he deserved it. I don't know who your agent is. Congratulations for him getting you this far, but let me take it from here. Let me represent Emmanuel Acho and all you got going on. We gonna break banks, okay? I'm not great at everything. There's about two things I'm really good at.
What you great at, big dog?
Okay. Breaking banks and breaking banks. That's all I do. Man, look, dog. I told you scared money don't make no money.
It don't.
And you still at the tables giving Vegas all your money. Building casinos left and right. That's Acho's. Yeah, Acho built that one too. Instead of just going with me, bruh. And I told you, if you go with me, you're going to find where Dak is going. And Dak finally arrived there. Congratulations to Dak. That said, I think what you're doing is something that a lot of people do in terms of misconstruing what a contract really is. I think you want it to be evidence-based. You want it to be based on measurables and metrics and accomplishments. But I give it to you in story form when I was a player rep for 9 of my 10 years in the NFL, and we used to go to Hawaii every year. Now, that trip sounded like a burden to some, and then it sounded like a paid vacation to others. Mm-hmm. But if you took advantage of the resources and the education that was going all around that campus, you really learned a lot about the league. I remember watching an executive council member talk to us about marketing. It was a marketing 101 to all the NFL player reps. And he handed out all these binders, this big, of every single player's NFL marketing deals. Okay, so I had half a page because I was kind of good at the time. Not great. And then you get to some other guys that got one line. You get to another guy that got one line. You get to another guy, he has a whole page. You're like, oh, he beasting. And then we got to young Peyton Manning. He was in his third year. Mm-hmm. He had 19 pages. And we were like, wait a minute. Peyton Manning ain't won no Super Bowl. Peyton Manning has been struggling and then good, and then we don't know what he's going to be. Can't even beat Tom Brady. Why is Peyton Manning making all this money? And finally, the executive council member came up and told us why. There are two things that get paid in this world, and you know one of them, and you're only married to one of them. Production.
Yes, sir.
What's the other one? Potential.
Okay.
Hey!
Okay, I like that.
So here's the thing, Acho. You got to remember, when you're talking about a young player with tremendous upside, not only will he make as much as a great player that's older, he may get it earlier than you even anticipate and expect. And that's what Dak Prescott is. Dak Prescott is a player with an upside that we can't even limit. We can't even ceiling how high Dak Prescott can climb. So when you look at the NFL and you start going through contract after contract, and I'll do that on my next layer, you can't equate Dak Prescott the same way you equate other players because you're not factoring in his potential and his future and his upside.
I like that you went there. This whole show, we about to unleash and unveil some layers. I don't know what's going to be the next block, the block after that, so I'm going to just give you my ammo as I got it, as it comes to me.
Okay.
Dak Prescott, hasn't shown, I would say, anybody, and I've watched the Cowboys as much as anybody's watched the Cowboys because I covered them in 2016 and 2017 and 2018 working at the Star. I was in the facility for sure in 16 and 17. Marcellus, what has Dak Prescott shown you to make us believe that, his potential is through the roof? His potential is $160 million worthy. Again, let me take y'all down this memory lane. Dak Prescott comes into the league, 23 touchdowns, 4 picks. Next year, 22 touchdowns.
Rookie.
Following year's third year, 22 touchdowns. His fourth year, 30 touchdowns. His fifth year, he gets hurt. Dak Prescott hasn't shown us anything to say that he is consistently ascending. What he has shown us is this. He's consistently good. I fervently believe, and I wore the wristband all in college. That was my Hall of Fame head coach's Mac Brown's mantra. You have to be consistently good to be great.
Yes.
So we can argue that Dak Prescott is great because he is consistently good. But what we can't sit here and argue and try to make up is all of a sudden Dak Prescott is elite because he's ever been elite. No. Dak Prescott has been great because he's been consistently good. 23 touchdowns, 22 touchdowns, 22 touchdowns, 30 touchdowns, injured. Passer rating, it peaked his rookie year, sit at 105, then 86, then 96, then 99, then 99, then injured. Dak Prescott has never shown us, Marcellus, that he's knocking on the doors of eliteness. He didn't show us any sort of Justin Herbert type 25, 26 touchdown rookie. He didn't do that. Dak Prescott never gave us a moment of being wowed. He always just gave us a moment of really good. So The reason I don't think he deserves this record-breaking contract is because this record-breaking contract is elite money. NFL record, $66 million signing bonus. NFL record, $75 million in year one. NFL record, $95 million fully guaranteed. So Dak Prescott is great because he's been consistently good. He's not great because he ever gave us a Carson Wentz type of miraculous 9 or 10 weeks. He's not great because he ever gave us a Jared Goff type of Super Bowl run campaign, 38 touchdowns, 9 picks. No, Dak Prescott's greatness lies in his consistency. But his consistency, Sal, to me, doesn't merit freakazoid type of dollars.
Oh, big dog, let's have some lessons learned up here.
Teach me something, Marcellus.
Okay, one, you're not measuring the impact properly. Dallas Cowboys with Dak Prescott, just in the short sample last year, 32 points a game. Without Dak Prescott, 21 points a game. Okay, you don't want to give all that credit to Dak Prescott, but there was only one thing removed from that equation, and that was the injury to Dak Prescott that showed you an 11-point-per-game difference. Okay, you don't want to get that to Dak Prescott. Let's go here. What about wins? Since Dak Prescott got into the NFL, since he became an NFL player and starter, who's number one in wins? Tom Brady. Who's number two? Dak Prescott, tied with Russell Wilson. You don't want to give that all to Dak. That's fine. Let's talk about this. The fact that good and young will make more money than great and old. You don't believe me? Let's talk about some of these deals that are greater than the GOAT, Tom Brady. Matthew Stafford, when he signed his deal in 2017, was he great? Was he elite? Matthew Stafford, who's never won a playoff game? Oh, okay. Kirk Cousins, was he elite? The guy who couldn't even win a playoff game and get the monkey off his back until he went to New Orleans. Was he? Whatever. Matt Ryan, has he won a Super Bowl? Well, MVP. Okay, whatever. Where's he now? Holding his breath, making sure he doesn't get traded. He did it. Jimmy G, holding his breath, hoping he ain't getting traded. Carson Wentz, Jared Goff. Here's the thing. When you get rewarded, it's not just this ambiguous, you deserve it. You know what it really is? You've earned it, and you've earned it through a collection of assets and attributes. What are those? On the field, I got metric after metric. He's a winner, okay? He's number one in all categories for the Dallas Cowboys first 5 seasons. Off the field, unquestionable character. Like, the only thing you got on Dak Prescott is he had a COVID party kind of early, and he didn't have enough French fries for all the people he invited over there. That was the only thing that spread. No one has heard a nasty word about Dak Prescott in terms of character off the field. But the biggest issue, and I read about this, and it was interesting, Jerry Jones doesn't trust Jerry Jones to find another guy like Dak Prescott, franchise quarterback, so fear also drives the price up. Let's talk about the fact that Jerry Jones realizes, I don't know who I can get. Remember in the same draft that Dak was drafted, 8th quarterback?
Yes, sir.
Jerry Jones in the first round, you know who he wanted? Paxton Lynch. Boy, stop. You know who he wanted in the 4th round before Dak? Connor Cook. Boy, stop. And then he didn't even draft Dak first in the 4th round. He was the compensatory pick. So Jerry Jones understands this. Value over replacement, something you always bring up.
Sir.
How can I replace Dak Prescott? And what's that guy going to cost me? Jerry got in his own way because he thought Dak Prescott wasn't about that life. Jerry could have got Dak at $30 million. I used to have that argument with Jason Whitlock a couple of years ago. Dak is going to get $30 million. Then it was $35 million. He got injured on one leg, got $40 million. The point of this is you have to add it all up. When you want to isolate Dak and say, well, he's not the best player. Well, Tom Brady is the best player if you want to go by wins and losses and measurables. But Tom Brady's making the 14th highest amount of money per his contract. So it's not always this equal reciprocation of how much you're getting paid and how good you are. You got to respect the production and the upside.
Sure, but we got to talk about input versus output. That's what I look at when I talk about deserving. Is your input matching your output? Dak Prescott, your input's $160 million. What's your output? I'm not going to turn a blind eye to this year because it's a part of Dak Prescott's resume. Dak Prescott, Marcellus, is tied for 6th in the NFL in wins. If you factor in this year, I can't turn a blind eye to the fact that he got hurt this year because that's a part of who he is.
Even though he's never been hurt before, but I get it.
But he's now been hurt 1 out of 5 seasons, so he's hurt 20% of the time. We just got to factor all that in.
That was a book.
The other thing is
he wasn't 20%.
It's a fact.
Because he wasn't hurt the whole year.
Sure, but it was one of the season.
17.3.
Thank you. But here's my thing, Big Dog. At least, Dak, be elite in anything.
What?
Like,
wins is not elite?
You talked about
Wins?
he's sixth in wins.
Huh?
He's sixth. That's not elite.
Bro,
you talked about
what?
He's sixth in wins since he came into the league.
Dog, I'm talking about starting a whole year, 2016 to 2019. You're going to use this year against him, and that's not fair, but go ahead. I'm going to let you go ahead.
I'm not using it against him. I'm using it with him.
What's that? Six is still elite.
No, it's not elite. But nonetheless, either way, Phil, if you talk about Matt Ryan, you talk about Matt Stafford, you talk about Kirk Cousins, they were elite, at least in anything.
In what?
In completion percentage, they led the league. Matt Ryan, you like completion percentage.
I do, but not enough to say that's why you got a contract.
It's enough to say
if that's the case, then give Cam Newton his contract.
It's enough
he was 66%.
It's enough to say this. When I look at Dak Prescott, nothing about him wows you. What wows you is his consistency. If you look at him and you say, man, I know, let's talk this, because we always talk trap. When you talk about Asafa Powell, that's Usain Bolt's rival in Jamaica. For those that don't know, Asafa Powell is also a 100-meter runner.
Yep.
He doesn't ever get first, but he has the most 100-meter times under 10 seconds, meaning you know he is consistently good. He's not the greatest. He's not the worst, but he's consistently good. Dak Prescott, is just consistently good. So why am I paying Dak Prescott elite money? I need the play to match the pay, and the play does not currently match the pay. The play has never actually matched the play.
Wow.
The pay right now is number 1. The play is probably number 8. And we can't even disagreeing on that. You wouldn't say Dak is top 5.
No, I'm not saying that.
I wouldn't say Dak is top 5.
No, but you're once again misconstruing how it goes. I was never the best defensive end. Certainly not better than Bruce Smith. But guess who got paid more? Me. Why? In part, I had the upside. In part, I had the birth certificate.
But did you deserve it? Did you deserve it?
Hell yeah, because I spent it. Damn, what you mean deserve it? What you mean? Do I deserve to be here? Hell yeah, because I'm here. Like, what the hell are you going to say? Well, I know another guy on YouTube who's better than you. Well, then good. Let him be on YouTube, and I'll be right here. Like, all this oh, well, did you really earn it? No, really earn it. I'm going to tell you this. I earned my money. Birth certificate, you got to add it like this. Are you good? Are you young? Do you have room to grow? That's an equation I don't think that you're factoring in. Put it like this. This is deja vu to me because I'm older. I was in the league 1997 all the way through 2007. Tom Brady. I remember people saying, even though Tom Brady won a Super Bowl in his second year, people were saying, nothing about him wows you. Nothing about him woos you. What's great about Tom Brady? And if you look at the numbers, Peyton Manning was putting up great numbers, and people were like, that's the guy. Now, one is the GOAT, and one is my favorite quarterback. But the point of it is, if you only going to look at it in the category of wowing you, well, Patrick Mahomes should be clearly the highest paid.
Absolutely.
And he is.
I agree.
But then you got to counter that by saying, but Patrick Mahomes, you clearly the highest paid, but you only got 1 Super Bowl. But you're young. See how that young card gets applied when you need to in contract terms and in talking about earning it. Who's after Patrick Mahomes? Now Dak Prescott.
Oh, yeah, now Dak Prescott.
And now Deshaun. Does Deshaun deserve it?
But I didn't say he did.
Okay.
But 2 wrongs don't make it right.
No. But that's the way it goes. That's the market value. After Deshaun, who do we go to? Russell Wilson. Does he deserve it?
Yes.
How?
He has at least a Super Bowl, Sel.
He got a Super Bowl by handing the ball off and said, go defense.
But he's been to 2.
Okay, and he lost the second one.
That's fine, but that's something the Cowboys haven't seen in a quarter century, Sel.
So now you're telling me that Jared Goff deserves his because he's been to a Super Bowl.
Yes.
Jared Goff deserves to be top 5.
What I'm saying is this. Input, output. At least Jared Goff got you to a Super Bowl. At least Carson Wentz was on a roster during a Super Bowl. If Dak Prescott would have gotten the Cowboys to a Super Bowl, I'd be like, you know what? You accomplished something that hasn't been accomplished since I was 5 years old. Then yes, you deserve that. But still, what has he done? You've gotten into the playoffs.
When? Put you in position to get to a Super Bowl.
So here's what we know then. Here's what we know, and here's what I can concede.
Okay.
Dak Prescott can win a lot of games. Yes, we know that to be true. Can Dak Prescott win you playoff games? Yeah, he's 1-2. Can Dak Prescott Can Dak Prescott win you an NFC championship?
No,
we haven't seen that. Can he win you a Super Bowl? We don't know. So you're paying Dak Prescott top flight, the most ever money for a lot of unknowns. I'm happy he got it done. I'm just saying he's not deserving of it. Now, I'm not going to say he didn't earn it, but I'm just saying if you're asking me as a neutral analyst, does he deserve it? Just because everybody else overpaid for the houses in Beverly Hills, does that mean you got to go overpay for the houses
No, but
in
you
Beverly
also
Hills?
should applaud anybody whose house is not as good as yours that gets paid way more for selling that house. Because that means mediocrity is being rewarded. If you want to go this argument. And guess what? If you're great, oh my God, you're about to cash in Patrick Mahomes. But if you're not Patrick Mahomes and great, you still will cash in Deshaun Watson, Matthew Stafford, Kirk Cousins, Jimmy G, Carson Wentz, Jared Goff. None of those guys are in the same stratosphere as Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, fair. I thought you were going to say Dak.
But then Dak is sitting there like, okay, someone else has to be the second highest paid. Who is it? Deshaun? Dak Prescott is Deshaun Watson plus inflation. It's just as simple as that. He had the same comps as Deshaun Watson, except he wins more than Deshaun Watson. And then he's sitting there saying, I'm as young as him.
You're not
Give me my money.
You're not necessarily saying that he's deserved it by his play, but rather the market dictates his value. Therefore, the market dictates he deserves it. I think we're agreeing maybe on Dak Prescott doesn't deserve Patrick Mahomes' money based off talent level or potential level. He doesn't.
No.
But he's making more than Patrick Mahomes in the first 4 years. That's where I'm torn. It's like, this man, him, sir.
With that smile, though. Look at that smile.
He is making more than Patrick Mahomes in the first 4 years, but he's not as good, nor is his ceiling as high. So that's where I struggle with saying he deserves it.
Ooh, be careful of this, because Patrick Mahomes right now has that one Super Bowl. If he continues to only have that one Super Bowl, being the highest paid, the conversation will shift and the criticism will shift towards him. Right now, you should be applauding Dak Prescott because he should be the second highest paid if Deshaun used to be the second highest paid. Just now getting started on Dak, y'all. So coming up at the top of the hour, we'll tell you if the Cowboys will regret giving their quarterback a monster payday. We both up here sweating. But first, we'll tell you if Dak will ever live up to his huge new contract. That's next on Speak for Yourself. Hey, Speak for Yourself listeners. I wanted to tell you about our brand new Fox Sports app and website, foxsports.com. Reimagined for the modern sports fan. Go ahead, download the new app now. You don't even have to pause this episode. Every day on the new app and website, you'll see the top stories in sports, plus a rich world of written content, videos, social media, and analytics to give you a 360-degree view of the most important stories of the day. Streaming live TV has never been so easy or elegant. Every Fox Sports game, including all pregame and postgame shows, are just one click away. For the extra invested fan, we also go deep with real-time wagering lines, trending prop bets, win probability, and key player projections. So download the new Fox Sports app or visit www.foxsports.com.
Let's head back to Dallas, talking Dak Prescott, because he's not going anywhere after agreeing to a 4-year deal, reportedly worth $160 million. That's Marcellus Wiley money. Now, Dak has more wins than any other quarterback in Cowboys history through his first 5 seasons, but he's never been to the Super Bowl. Roger Staubach and Troy Aikman are Hall of Famers and combined for 5 Lombardi trophies in Dallas. So, Marcellus, will Dak Prescott ever live up to the contract? I hate speaking in absolutes.
I was about to say,
I hate speaking in absolutes. But will he?
Yes, he's already lived up to this contract. That's why he got the damn contract. All right, put it this way. Did you ever get a contract that big? I'll wait. Oh, what's the answer?
No.
Why? Because you didn't live up to it. Did I ever get a contract that big? No. No, why? Didn't live up to it. Came close, though. But here's the thing. I keep giving you this equation. Please, people, walk with me. You have to be good enough, whatever that is. Like, you got to beat the threshold of like, yo, I think this guy can be great. So you're good right now or great. You got to be young. And then you got to have that upside that we just can't even project. That's who Dak Prescott is. He solidified this position. And if you think about the position of a franchise quarterback, it's more than just going out there and having some passing yards. It's more than just lighting up the scoreboard. It's being someone that they can depend on, rely on, and be the face of a franchise. We know Dak Prescott has that box checked. But if you start to look at this team with Dak and without Dak, you're like, yo, this team sucks without Dak. With Dak, they got something there. Now, they have guys already paid out all the way through 2026 in Ezekiel Elliott. They have their core already paid. They have to address the offensive line because of injuries, attrition, age, etc. But other than that, this team is ready to roar, but they needed their leader. Here's the thing. When you look at Dak Prescott, stop looking at just the numbers.
Where am I supposed to look then? Where else am I supposed to look?
You know why you don't look at the numbers? Because the numbers you told me got Kirk Cousins is the highest paid player since Dak has been in the league. True, false? Truth. What does that mean? Is that by the numbers? Nah, it's really not. It's by they bet on Kirk Cousins and his upside at that time.
That's wrong.
Well, you can say that. And they said that about my favorite quarterback growing up, John Elway, until he had a running game with Terrell Davis at the latter stages of his career.
That's a running game.
Does he ever run a game? Ezekiel Elliott, he got a jogging game. I don't know if he got a running game right now. It's been regressive for him ever since he got there. But the point of this is, I want you to understand, stop arguing with the market forces.
That's
you
fair.
need to go to an econ class and have that at UT.
Don't send me back. I got a C in microeconomics.
You got a
like
C?
my only C in college. First, I get to college at Texas, and remember, I came from private school. Class was like 15 people. I got to Texas, 400 students.
Oh, them auditoriums.
I take micro econ. True story, I get a C, so I had to get a tutor. But the tutor was cute. I was still getting C's on the homework, so I didn't want to tell the tutor I need a new tutor because I had a cute tutor. So instead, I just got a C, which is why I'm stuck in these lost arguments because I never understood microeconomics. I digress.
Hey, it makes sense. That's why the C and you just chasing your dream of her and not focusing in on the details of the dough. Here's the thing. I didn't take microeconomics. I didn't take macroeconomics. I just know how to make money. And here's the thing. Tom Brady is the 14th highest paid. It's not by the numbers. LeBron James in basketball is the 7th highest paid. It's not by the numbers. It's not by how great you are. If you just stop looking at this world by greatness and greatness only and start to say, what are your contributions to greatness, maybe you'll start to understand why Dak got this dough.
Man, you my guy, big dog.
You
my guy. I'm not at all.
Yes.
Let me say this. I don't like to speak in absolutes. Will Dak Prescott ever live up to the contract? I don't know, but he will be hard-pressed to. I'm going to give y'all not a Wileyism, not an Achoism, but just a solid factual piece of information. Just because you got richer does not mean you got better.
Oh, okay.
Drop mic.
Tabernacle. What the hell are you talking about?
Let me explain exactly what I'm talking about.
That.
So, if all of a sudden tomorrow Fox decides to quadruple my contract, which
you better hope.
If they decide to quadruple my contract, ain't nothing gonna change. I'm going to be the same Emmanuel Acho. I'm going to be the same guy giving the same takes. They might get slightly better, might get slightly worse. But nothing will change. I just got richer.
Okay.
Don't mean I got better. So what have I given you thus far? Dak Prescott, what has he given you thus far? In order to live up to the contract, he would have to at least get to a Super Bowl, at least an NFC Championship game.
Get to a Super Bowl or be the reason that he gets to a Super Bowl?
I don't care.
You don't care?
No. Why don't I care?
Oh, so you love Jimmy G.
I don't love Jimmy G.
Well, then you just said get to a Super Bowl.
I would say Jimmy G has at least merited some of his bread. I don't love him. I don't love Jared Goff. But Jared Goff got them to a Super Bowl. I love Carson Wentz because I'm biased. But if I'm just a non-biased partisan fan, Carson Wentz, his team got to a Super Bowl while he was on the roster. So do the Eagles regret drafting Carson Wentz? No. Ask anybody in the organization, from Howie to Lurie to myself to Zach Ertz to any of them cats. Because they won a Super Bowl with him on the roster. How can Dak live up to this contract? By at least getting them to a Super Bowl, which they haven't been to, which they haven't even seen, tasted, or smelled since '95, Sal. But the fact of the matter is, he got richer. But did he get better? No. So let's look at history. 13-3 his rookie season. Then he had a 10-6 season. He had a 9-7 season. He had an 8-8 season. Then he gets hurt last year at 2-3, really 1-3, but Andy Dalton finished that game. Counts as a win for Dak Prescott. So Dak hasn't done anything in his first 5 years to let you believe that he's all of a sudden going to live up to this contract. So now, and again, I'm not being harsh, y'all. I'm just being real. Dak Prescott's very good. But to live up to a record-breaking contract, I need to see at least a Super Bowl appearance. He hasn't done it thus far. So why am I now to believe, because he got $160 million, well, he's Patrick Mahomes now?
No, he doesn't have to be Patrick Mahomes. He didn't get $45 million, but he got more than Deshaun Watson. And I don't hear the same level of intensity, the same energy, same criticism when it comes to Deshaun Watson when he got his deal from you or anybody out there. It's amazing. When Dak looks at Deshaun Watson, you know how he looks at him? Like this. I'm in Dallas, you in Houston. Okay, good luck. Okay, I am with the star franchise. You're with the Texans. Okay. You have won one playoff game. I've won one playoff game. Okay? I've won 40 games since I've been in the league. You've won 29 and 27. You barely over 500. Only reason I bring up Deshaun Watson is because that's what Dak used to get his money. But when we look at Deshaun Watson, has he been to a Super Bowl?
No, sir.
Okay. Has Dak ever had a losing season, let alone a 4-12 season?
Yeah,
No.
His last season was a losing season.
Man, he didn't finish the damn season. He played 4 games.
Whose fault is that?
So,
I'm sorry. All of a sudden, we don't count injuries in the NFL.
No, we do count injuries, but guess what? We also count rebounding from that same injury. Because Tom Brady missed the entire season except one game before, and he still was Tom Brady in expectations. So I look at this situation as simple. If you want to use last season as a negative, let's use it as a positive. He was on pace for 5,900 yards. You don't want to hear that. So I don't want to hear how sorry he was going to be if you projected towards the negative. Deshaun Watson is why Dak got his money. Now, those agents, we're talking about David, we're talking about Todd France, work in the same agency. How in the hell am I going to work with you, understand how you got Deshaun $39 million with no Super Bowl appearance. And he got the money before he even led the league in passing yards. So how does Deshaun get 39? And Dak is looking from a higher platform, not only platform, but greater performance, at least in wins and losses, and looks there and says, I can't make less than this. Jerry Jones should have paid Dak when he was still debating $30 million.
Yes, sir.
He waited, he got in his own way, and now it turned into $40 million. The reason it couldn't be any less is because Deshaun Watson is sitting there saying, you can't be worse than me.
But let me ask you, the operative question here is, will Dak live up to the contract? So let me ask you, what will it take for him to live up to the contract? Do we agree that at least an NFC championship game? Can we agree on that?
No. But you know why? Because I don't have that metric measurable like you do. You know why? I'll give it to you like this. Peyton Manning, early Peyton Manning, everyone saw the wow factor, and then they didn't see the ultimate team success, the Super Bowl championship. And people kept waiting and waiting and waiting. This is year after year after year, and started to destroy the reputation of Peyton Manning when Peyton Manning was doing the most important thing to me and to his team, putting his team in position to win. Let me give you this.
I don't care about a position.
How many times have they won the division?
I care about winning.
They won the division.
Stop talking about putting me in a position, Sal. I want to win.
He won the division 2 out of 4 years, and you can't even count.
Carson Wentz did the same thing.
Exactly. And then he won a playoff game, and then one playoff game he loses because Aaron Rodgers throws a miraculous throw. Another playoff game he loses because where's Ezekiel Elliott? 20 carries, 47 yards. But that's on Dak's plate once again. So Dak is the glue, and you don't want to respect the glue. You don't want to respect what keeps this all together and keeps this winning. Without Dak, we saw what this team is. It's not a winning team.
Here's my thing. I don't want Elmer's glue. I want Gorilla Glue. That Elmer's glue ain't strong.
Can't hang with a gorilla.
Look, Sal,
all right,
where I vehemently disagree with you, and I agree with you on all them other things. You know, we making TV. You my guy. Where I vehemently disagree with you is very simply.
You talking about Willis?
If he lives up to the contract, there's only one way you can do that. It's a Super Bowl. Like, Jerry Jones isn't paying you $160 million, but what he's paying you. He's not paying you $75 million in the first year, over the course of the first year. He's not paying you, $95 million fully guaranteed to put us in a position to win. No, he's paying you that to win. Aaron Rodgers didn't just put his team in position. Aaron Rodgers tries to win the whole thing. Patrick Mahomes doesn't just put his team in position. He wins the whole thing. You don't get paid $160 million.
No, don't make that plural.
Okay, win.
He won.
You don't get paid $160 million to give your team a fighting chance. No, you get paid $160 million to win it all, big dog.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
You should. You should.
What do you mean you should? Hold on. Russell Wilson is not the reason they ever won a Super Bowl. Let's just be real about that. Okay? So you can take him off the list.
Can we say that, though?
Okay, well, fine. And Aaron Rodgers has the equity of winning one championship, but one. Drew Brees, one.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford, none.
But none of them got this kind of bread, though.
But you're looking at the aggregate number instead of just, hey, next man up is going to get more than the last man up. That's the birth certificate element I keep talking about, age and upside. Let's take it out of football. Let's take it to basketball, something you probably can process a little more because you're out the forest. Now you maybe can see these trees. Who's the highest paid basketball player?
Tell me.
He used to do it. What's that dance he used to do? The Dougie?
John Wall?
John Wall. Yeah, your face. Yeah, your face. Okay, I'm just trying to point to you how the market is, not necessarily who earned it or who deserves it. I want to give you who's number 2? James Harden. Rings? Anybody? Who's number 3? Russell Westbrook. Rings anywhere? Anybody? Okay, then you get the KD, Steph, Chris Paul. 4 of the top 6 players, no rings. You know what that means to me? It means to me simple. It means simply this. If you're the next man up and you show that good or greatness in you and you still have room to grow, you cannot be penalized. But it sounds like you want to create a market force that penalizes someone who has a future projection of greatness. I can't do that.
I want to create a fair market because what I would say based on everything you're telling me is that the market is flawed. Now, kudos to the players.
Welcome to life.
Shout out to the players. I wish I would have benefited from the flawed market. But what you're telling me is the market is flawed when you're telling me that Dak Prescott, a man in whom was his last 4 seasons, 9-7, 10-6, 8-8, 2-3, and ended in injury.
No losing seasons.
No losing seasons. That's fair.
I love you.
But as the highest paid player in the National Football League, that to me screams flawed market.
Behind Patrick.
If you're telling me that he's not the best, he's not the youngest. He doesn't have the highest ceiling. He doesn't have the highest ceiling for being the youngest or the best, yet he is the highest paid over the next 4 years. That screams to me flawed market. So to me, again, kudos to the flaw. I'm pro player. Letting y'all all know I'm pro player, but I'm up here doing a job as an analyst speaking logically and logistically. It's flawed. Living up to the contract. One way to live up to $160 million. You played in Dallas. I'm from Dallas. One way. A Super Bowl.
A Super Bowl, one.
Just give me one, please.
Because I don't hear this.
There.
I don't hear this. Patrick Mahomes, you got to live up to $500 million. So 1, 2, 3. You got to get 3 because it's 3 times the contract of Dak Prescott. I don't hear that because right now I don't know if he's on that pace. We all know that. I don't hear this energy when Ezekiel Elliott became the highest paid running back.
You know you had that energy.
Christian McCaffrey, not when he got paid. Michael Thomas, when he became that. Aaron Donald, like other positions don't even have to hear this. And other players at his position, like Deshaun Watson, doesn't have to hear this. It's crazy how these goalposts move for Dak, dog.
No.
They move for Dak.
Aaron Donald, when he got paid, proved that he was the best at his position. Michael Thomas, when he got paid, was at least the best in certain categories and aspects of his position. Zeke, when he got paid, the best at his position. Dak is not the best at his position.
Oh, so why didn't you start and finish your argument with Dak? Just be the best in the position. You didn't. You moved the goalpost and said you got to win it all. Carry 52 other dudes with you or else you don't deserve the money. This is what I'm working with. Coming up, staying in the NFC East, the Eagles say Jalen Hurts is the guy in Philly. We'll tell you if this is a smart move. Next on Speak for Yourself.
Hey, Speak for Yourself listeners. It's Charlotte Wilder here to tell you about my new podcast with Mark Titus called the People's Sports Podcast. It comes out every Thursday, and Mark and I take one of the big stories of the week, and then we go off on tangents you never saw coming. This might mean that we start talking about the Dodgers winning the World Series and end up wondering if Knicks fans deserve happiness. Or begin with LeBron's greatness and end up drafting our ultimate beer league softball team made up of old athletes. Whatever it is, the only rule of the show is that it has to be fun and funny, because these days we could all use as many laughs as we can get. So check it out wherever you get your podcasts and come down weird sports rabbit holes with us. We can't wait to have you. Now, back to Speak for Yourself.
The Eagles are going to build around Jalen Hurts. Reports say owner Jeffrey Lurie sent a message to his personnel department to do everything to help Hurts be successful and, quote, not bring in somebody to compete for the job. Eagles have the 6th pick in the draft, and Hurts is the only quarterback under contract. So, Acho, is it a smart move by your Eagles to back Jalen Hurts?
Till it is. It's incredibly smart, but it's premature. Now, I'm so torn because the question is convoluted because the actions of the Eagles are convoluted. Let's put all this in perspective. So the Eagles, you have a 27-year-old Carson Wentz who's shown MVP potential, and you don't back him, and that is a contributing factor in his regression. We all know that. I've talked to people inside the locker rooms. You don't have to, though. You just have to have common sense to realize that was a contributing factor in Carson Wentz's regression. So the exact reason in which you caused a 27-year-old MVP potential having quarterback to regress is now the logic you're going to use to support the 22, 23-year-old quarterback, Jalen Hurts. It's confusing to me as an Eagles fan, as a former Eagles player, because, like, it's smart, Sel, but where was this genius 7 months ago? No, where was this genius 10 months ago on draft night when y'all decided to draft Jalen Hurts, even though you had Carson Wentz. Smart, yes. For the most part, unless you were Aaron Rodgers, it's nearly impossible to succeed if you have somebody breathing down your neck. It's just the way it is. Track and field, you tighten up. In the NFL, you tighten up. In all sports and most opportunities of competition, you can tighten up a little bit if you're on a short leash.
Yeah.
So it's smart, but it's premature. And I'm going to also get into why it's premature on my next lap, because really, as an Eagles fan, I look at Jalen Hurts and I'm like, wait a second, what has he shown me to say I'm going to give him full authority and the complete keys to drive the car?
Look, I think this is smart. It's about time they just cleared house, cleaned the decks, and realized we need to focus in on one. This is just about belief in yourself, belief and who you chose at the quarterback position in the second round when you had a franchise quarterback, belief in Jalen Hurts. You got to trust yourself if you're the Philadelphia Eagles. And look, all this Carson Wentz talk is nauseating because of this. Carson Wentz did that to himself. He was not a motivator of men. People can say what they want, but all I saw was a team without Carson Wentz win a Super Bowl. And then a team without Carson Wentz, once he was benched, all of a sudden looked like they had a little more action than they did with Carson Wentz. Now, what was Jalen Hurts in terms of being the engine for this success? Or lack thereof, as you're going to point out, because of the wins and losses. But he's a rookie. Let's talk about rookies and passing and rushing yards in their first year. You know that Jalen Hurts is third all time behind Deshaun Watson and Justin Herbert in terms of yards per game, combined efforts of running and throwing the football. That's ahead of Cam Newton. Remember his rookie year? That was pretty special. What about Andrew Luck? Hit the ground running. Still more special than that. Jalen Hurts went to an impossible situation where not once removed, twice removed franchise quarterback was on the sidelines while he was the rookie who wasn't anticipating ever being in that position and had to hit the ground running. And I would say by all accounts, he did hit the ground running because in the 3 games that he started, fourth game he got yanked, he averaged 437 yards per game, number 2 offense in the NFL for those 3 games. You think that didn't go noticed by the Philadelphia Eagles when they have a guy who's not fully a motivator of men, whatever you want to think about Carson Wentz. When you have a guy who's leading the league in the wrong categories, turnovers, when you talk about Carson Wentz, and then you have this young guy who's inspiring others. More importantly, who's a true dual threat, who believes in his abilities to run the ball and throw the ball, where Carson Wentz has had some confidence issues, especially in running the football. Enough conversation about this franchise player that once was. And I think that's why Carson Wentz is now wearing a different uniform. We can't dress up Carson Wentz anymore. Then he was already dressed up. He didn't finish his MVP campaign. We can't dress that up anymore. They finished the deal, but then he had time to come back and rebound, to resurrect his career, to resurrect himself, and to put himself back in the MVP conversation. He never did. And then all of a sudden, it's like anything in life. How much are you costing me, and how much are you benefiting me? And when we have all these issues that are costing me, and then we only see this much benefit, it's time to move on.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at the take, but I'm going to put y'all in the driver's seat. I'm going to put you, Sel, in the driver's seat. Let's think college. Y'all go back to college. Is it sitting at your house on your couch watching the show? Just sitting at the office, not paying attention on the job. In college, you had a group project, and every now and then you would have another participant in the group project. Sel, on this show, you have a co-host, or in the NFL, you have teammates.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear your excuses. I just want to see your excellence.
Oh, okay.
So, because right now you said, but Jalen Hurts was a rookie. If y'all are in your college group projects, yeah, man, it's my first day in class. I just transferred from another school. I don't care about all the excuses because you're a part of a team. So, Jalen Hurts was a rookie. Don't give me that. You've been in the locker room before. You're not like, yeah, coach, but the D tackle didn't run the stunt right, but he's a rookie, coach, so, like, it's fine. He's a rookie. It's not a big deal. No, you're like, coach, if he can't do it, give me somebody that can. I don't care about his age. Yeah. Once you're in the NFL, once you're on the field, your age is irrelevant.
I hear that.
So when I look at Jalen Hurts, 77 passer rating, league average was what, 93? 52 completion percentage, league average was 64. Jalen Hurts, 4.1 touchdown percentage. Carson Wentz's atrocious season was a 3.7. Jalen Hurts was 1-3 as a starter. You could say 1-2 if you don't want to count the Washington game in which he was also playing poorly.
He was only down 3 points. He should have let him finish.
I mean, that's fine. Dak Prescott didn't finish the Giants game, and we gave him that win, so let's just decide.
Did we?
But, yeah, we did. He's 2-2 last year. But nonetheless, so I look at it like this. It's like Jalen Hurts was okay for a rookie. Right? He was okay for a rookie. But think about it. Justin Herbert went crazy. Joe Burrow went crazy. Even Tua was 6-2 as a starter. All those dudes, I would be more comfortable going behind this coming year than Jalen Hurts. And I like Jalen Hurts, so I'm trying to remove my bias. But just looking at stats, I'm more comfortable backing Herbert. I'm more comfortable backing Burrow. And Tua was 6-2, so I should be more comfortable backing him. But Jalen Hurts, you want me to fully support a man who was 1-3 as a starter? You want me to fully support a man whose passer rating was 15 points below league average? You want me to fully support a man whose completion percentage was 13 percentage points below league average? To put that in context, if Jalen Hurts throws a football, there's a 13% greater chance, or 13 out of 100 passes, he will be less accurate than the average quarterback. Not than Drew Brees, the most accurate quarterback, than the average quarterback. I don't know how you can justify fully backing him. That's my only thing.
Oh, you still talking?
You must be texting Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, well, he just hit me back.
What'd he say?
Who you working with? This fool, right? All I want to tell you is this. I can't make excuses for people that are weak-minded. And you just told me that, oh, well, people tighten up when someone's breathing down their neck.
They do.
You just gave me a soliloquy about when you're a rookie, it doesn't matter your age. But then when you're a veteran or a former MVP candidate, oh, it matters who's behind me. Bruh, you ever been a starter in the league for any time? Guess what? There's always somebody behind you. There are always forces working against you. As soon as you get the money, first thing upstairs is they trying to get the money back.
You ran track, so you know better than anybody
National record holder, too.
watching this show.
National
record
champion.
holder. If somebody is breathing down your neck, you already know the natural response, literally, you tighten up, you start to lose your breath, and you forget how to run your race. I'm giving y'all a literal example of track and field, which embodies a figurative example in the National Football League. So Carson Wentz didn't literally tighten up and didn't literally lose his posture, but Carson Wentz mentally tightened up. You know that.
And you're making my point. That's why we got to get rid of you. Because my coach told me, don't get psyched out. Run your race, stay in your lane, and run your race upstairs. Obviously, you didn't have the same coach as me. That's why you didn't have the same track success as me. Anyway, you should have had my coach. Steve Young didn't have this issue when they drafted Jim Druckenmiller in the first round. Steve Young was like, pop, pop, pop. Let's go out there and do what we got to do. So it depends on what your mindset is. You just told me that Carson Wentz doesn't have the same mindset. Let's look at this situation also. Why you got to clean the decks. Do you believe in Lamar Jackson? Do you think he's a good quarterback?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I wonder.
Has limitations, but yes, sir.
Yeah. This is why the rookie thing matters. Chase Young has 7.5 sacks this year. And everyone knows Chase Young's amazing. But 7.5 sacks is not amazing. Oh, why? Because we give him that rookie bump. We know it's going to get greater later. Same thing that happens when you talk about Jalen Hurts. Lamar Jackson, first 3 games, 151 yards passing. What about Jalen Hurts? 282. What? Okay, let's talk about total touchdowns and interceptions. 6-2, Jalen Hurts. 3-3, Lamar Jackson. Yup, passer rating higher, 20 points higher for Jalen Hurts. Yards per carry. This is Lamar Jackson, day one. Lamar Jackson, 4.9. Jalen Hurts, 6.3. Brother, you got to give him the Chase Young rookie bump. You got to think about going forward. This is our franchise quarterback. And more importantly, the last guy that was here maybe didn't have it all upstairs. Tighten it up. Coming up, the Cowboys just gave Dak a whole lot of money. But we'll tell you if they'll regret it. That's next. Don't speak for yourself. It's quiet in here. Watch and speak for yourself. Marcel Swally, no Hummer. What you pushing now, Mr. Bachelor? What you got to
Nah, still just
the boy. Okay, wait till the episode airs. All right, let's head back to Dallas. Took a long time, but finally, Dak Prescott has his long-term deal. 4 years for reportedly $160 million. Cowboys will get some relief in the first year of the contract with a cap hit for just over $22 million. Dak has 1 playoff win in his 5 seasons in Dallas and was out for the year after injuring his ankle back in October. So, Acho, will the Cowboys regret giving Dak a monster payday?
So I'm not going to use the word regret because I'm not going to put that in the Cowboys' mouth. You know, so many people don't believe in regrets, but they will have second thoughts. So, experience is my expertise. You've been here many more times than I, but there came a time in my life where I stumbled.
What's her name?
I stumbled into some money. I tripped and fell into some money, Sal. And what did I do? I tripped and fell into that money. I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go buy a Bentley cash. The dusty Bentley.
Cash? All ones?
I'm like, no, hundreds. I tripped and fell into some money. I said, I'm going to go buy this Bentley cash. I bought it. Felt great about myself. There's a euphoric feeling when you spend a lot of money. You just feel like a boss. You just feel like you run some things. Euphoric. I bought the Bentley in Dallas because that's where I'm born and raised, but I was living in Austin at the time. So, a few days later, I had to make the drive 3 hours from Dallas to Austin. And while I'm driving, I'm thinking to myself, did I really just spend all this money on a vehicle to take me from point A to point B?
Yeah.
I didn't regret it.
Yeah.
But I was more sober-minded. The Cowboys spent all this money in Jerry Jones. You're going to see him smirk like he does, him and Steven high-fiving. But they're going to be walking around Dallas thinking, did we really just spend all this money on a quarterback? Because it's not to say the Bentley doesn't have bells and whistles, has a back massager. It's not to say the interior is not red. It's not to say that the Bentley's not nice, custom rims, etc.
Fast.
But it's still just going to get me from point A to point B. See, Dak Prescott, it's not to say he's not a good quarterback. Not to say he can't scramble. It's not to say he's not mobile. Not to say he's not accurate. Not to say he's not tough and a leader. But at the end of the day, he's still just a good quarterback. There hasn't yet been a point in time where I'm in some sort of street race and I desperately needed the Bentley to get me out of trouble. Because maybe if that happened, I wouldn't contemplate it as much. There hasn't been a point in time where Dak Prescott has been used to his maximum ability and gotten the Cowboys to a Super Bowl. But if they did, maybe they wouldn't contemplate it as much. But as it stands right now, when that euphoric feeling settles down, you might not regret it, but you become a little more sober-minded, and that's where I think the Cowboys will land.
That was good. That new car smell wore off. You're like, what the hell did I do?
I'm driving off like I spent so much money on a car.
That was good.
What?
That is good.
You've been there.
Hell yeah, I am living there now, boy. You don't want to see what's out in the parking lot. A mess, because I'm not doing that again. I have one song in mind when I hear your little story of being hood rich. Gator boots. Hey. Like, why did you do that? Here's the thing. There won't be any regrets. There won't be any buyer's remorse. There won't be any second thoughts on giving Dak his money. You want to know why? Because they didn't even want to give Dak his money. You didn't want to spend $200,000+ at the Bentley dealership, but you had to if you wanted that Bentley. Jerry Jones, if he wanted Dak Prescott, if he wanted that guy, tremendous character, tremendous performer, a winner, you had to spend that amount of money. But Jerry, you missed the memo when Dak was sending it out a couple years ago, like, yoo-hoo, after my third year, yoo-hoo, I'm on the low-low. This Bentley only $110,000. You know what I'm saying? Go to the auction. I'm right here. Same Bentley. And damn, he wanted to give Ezekiel his money 2 years early. So, all right, now you got to spend top dollar because it's at a premium. Bentley's at a premium for obvious reasons, because of its performance, because of what it does in terms of its capabilities, and it's flossy. Dak's the same way. Oh, Jerry, you want to franchise tag me again at $38 million against your cap this year? Or you don't. You want to give me a long-term deal only at $22 million. Oh, you want me to go hit free agency next year? Because you're not giving me $54 million at the cap, so you're going to pay top dollar. Now, what does top dollar get you in terms of quarterbacks and how they respond to that money? Deshaun Watson got paid in 2020, right? What did he do this year? Led the league in passing yards. Boom. Patrick Mahomes got paid in 2020. What did he do? 14-1 as a starter. Went to the Super Bowl, led the league, and passing yards per game. What about Russell Wilson? He got paid in 2019. Since then, second most touchdowns in the NFL. Matt Ryan got paid, led the league in passing yards since that point. Aaron Rodgers got paid, won the MVP this year. The point is, there's something going on with paying your franchise quarterback and that same franchise quarterback feeling like he has to earn it. And that's what Dak Prescott's going to do.
So,
let's get back in the Bentley. Let's go.
No, we got to get into the Bentley, but let's get back in our real lives. Because what I've learned, and again, you've been having money for 20+ years now, I believe I'm doing my math right, about 25.
24.
I just stumbled into money. My brother came on this show and told y'all I was broke. He did. He put my business out there. I'm not broke no more, okay?
How you was broke and you had a Bentley? Yeah. Y'all got different standards. You did grow up with a pool. That's what it is. You got different standards.
So look, what I do know is this. When I stumbled into money recently, I've realized one thing. money does not change you. It exposes who you really are.
Oh.
Matt Ryan was an NFL MVP, exposed who he really was. Russell Wilson was a 2-time Super Bowl appearer, 1-time Super Bowl champ. Patrick Mahomes was already lost in winning Super Bowls. Money did not change these individuals. It exposed who they really were. Deshaun Watson was leading the league in touchdown passes his first year in the league, even though he didn't start until he got hurt. It exposed who they really are. So if Dak Prescott gets paid this money, it's not going to change him. It's going to expose who he truly is.
A winner.
The question is, who is he really? He is a winner in the regular season. He is a 1-2 playoff record. He has never led the NFL in passing touchdowns or completion percentage or passing yards. So who is he really? I'm glad he got paid. But Dak Prescott, this money just going to tell us who you really are. Time to bring in NFL analyst Greg Jennings, a winner in his own right. So, Greg, will the Cowboys regret giving Dak Prescott a monster payday?
The Dallas Cowboys will not regret it. They've already gotten more out of Dak Prescott with drafting him where they drafted him. They understand what he is, and this is why they won't regret it. Number one, you draft a guy where you draft him in the 4th round, and he outperformed your expectations out the gate. From day one, he set the tone, and he allowed you to see into what you were investing in and what you were going to get in return, which was more than what you even ever thought. And so with that even being the case, the way his career has played out, he has outperformed what you thought he would ever do. You had hopes that he would sustain or he would learn behind Tony Romo, and it would kind of take some time, and possibly he may end up being a guy that we can look into as carrying the torch of this franchise. But never did they ever think that the day he got there, he would take over and it would be at this premium level. And when I say premium level, I'm talking about the success of the Dallas Cowboys. We always want to look at what the Dallas Cowboys history is and what it was. But the reality is the Dallas Cowboys are really not a playoff bound every year team. That's never been who they were or was. That's what they were. That's not who they are. Now, Dak Prescott, he affords you that opportunity when you pay him to now rest easy, but it doesn't mean he's going to take his foot off the gas. Dak Prescott showed you from day one, I am all in on Dallas. I want to win this job. I will tear down the rearview mirror. I will never look behind me. I'm always going to look out front. And when he's looking out front and he doesn't have to concern himself with, are they going to pay me? Do they question what I bring to the table? Now that's all written out. It's signed, sealed, delivered. You trust in me. I trust in me. Let's go make hay. And that's what the Dallas Cowboys got with Dak Prescott. I love that they paid this man. He well-deserved. And Dak, man, anytime you feeling real servant-ish, feel free, man. We all over here looking like, hey, buddy.
Hey, Dak could just give you the money he saved in taxes and just be like, yo, that's life right there. Dog, Dak saved like $13 million just living in Texas versus out here in Cali. Good Lord, Dak Prescott, I love you so much. And I love the fact that you brought up how they already were making money off of Dak Prescott based on what Dak Prescott was bringing to the table. As you said, hit the gas, Dak, going forward, but Dak was already on that gas pedal going. If you look back at 2016, $833,000 Dak made in 2016, 13 wins. Boy, stop. 2017, $540,000, 9 wins. $630,000 in 2018. 10 wins. Okay, Jerry Jones, boy, you need to stop with this because even last year, Dak Prescott got hurt after the 5th game, but still he won 2 of those 5 games. And that was a franchise tag paying him for retroactive services. If you're in the business, you understand what that means. We owe you, big dog, and they owe Dak Prescott. I love Acho. Love Acho.
What I do?
Man, this dude says something right there. Money exposes you. You know how Acho talks. Money, he always repeats, money exposes you. And then he leans back, right? And he did it right there. Okay, you know what it does? It does expose you, but it also changes those around you. Ooh. Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
That's real.
We all got drafted, and then you were like, yo, okay, I'm still me, but y'all ain't still y'all. What has happened to you? So let's put that into a team element, team dynamic. Ezekiel. Stop playing. Stop jogging. It's time to get a running game. Hey, receivers, I'm back. Your numbers will go up. But I demand this of you guys. Why? Because it's going to be demanded of me. One thing in commonality that I heard from every single player talking about Dak Prescott is his work ethic and how he's always leading by example. Well, when you get that much money thrown your way, you feel a different type of pressure, not a pressure to accomplish getting that money, but the pressure to accomplish living up to that said amount of money. Dak Prescott's going to lead by example, but guess what? More importantly, he's going to make sure that everyone else around him comes along for the ride.
This is what y'all get on this show that y'all might not and will not get elsewhere. Sal, you said money changes those around you. That's on me. I omitted that. Two things I've learned since stumbling into money. And, G, you know this as well because I'm on the show with big dogs that got bigger pockets than me. I'm just trying to put my pockets on creatine so they can swell up themselves. Money, it not only exposes who you are, it changes those around you. You mean that figuratively, right? People's emotions, they start to change and act different when you get money. But let's talk literally because Dak Prescott, the bodies around him are going to change now that he got paid. Like Russell Wilson's bodies around him change. Uh-oh, Richard Sherman, you gone? Dang. Earl Thomas, you gone? Offensive line, y'all, where y'all at, though? See, Dak Prescott, the bodies around him are going to change now that he's gotten his bread because money does, in fact, change those around you figuratively in life, but in the NFL, it will literally change those around him. Dak, now that you got this monster payday, I don't want to hear no excuses, Sal. There are transcendent quarterbacks, and then there are good quarterbacks. Dak Prescott is a good quarterback. What's up with these transcendent quarterbacks? Because you getting transcendent money. So now, Dak Prescott, we need to see you transcend. Aaron Rodgers, his defense for the first 3 games of the season, worst in yards per game allowed. They were actually historically worse than the Cowboys' historically bad defense. Packers still started 3-0, really started 4-0. Seahawks, historically terrible defense. Russell Wilson transcended. They started 5-0. Cowboys, historically bad defense, and Dak Prescott started 1-3. It's not enough to be good. Now that you got elite money, Dak Prescott, you got to move from that tier of being a good quarterback who the Cowboys can win with to a transcendent quarterback who the Cowboys will win with regardless of anything else. That's what it comes down to now. And if that doesn't occur, there will not necessarily be regrets, but there will be afterthoughts. Did we overpay Dak Prescott? Because the last thing I'm going to say, don't nobody pity a rich man. Before this show one time, a producer came up saying, man, Jeff Bezos, he lost like $300 million over the last week. I laughed because he's rich and you don't pity rich people. So Dak Prescott, now that you this rich, you was rich before, but now that you are wealthy, not rich, nobody's pitying you anymore. Now all you can do is put up, period.
And he doesn't need the pity. He doesn't need the pity. Marcellus, you got paid. I got paid. Acho, you said you stumbled into money. Now you got paid. So we all, your level of expectation of what you're going to put out didn't change. Even when you weren't paid, you still were going to ball till you fall, period. Like, so that's Dak Prescott. Before he got paid, he was going to ball. Before he got paid, he was playing for the Dallas Cowboys. He had that star on the side of his helmet. The expectation was always excellence. It was always Super Bowl. Every single year, we were talking about the Dallas Cowboys and what they had the potential to do. That still doesn't change. That weight is still there. He doesn't have to change who he is, but like you said, it will change some of the guys around him. But to Marcellus's point, let's all strap in because now I got paid, y'all got paid. We all got to live up to this expectation of what was already the expectation. Now let's go ahead and deliver it. That's going to be their approach with them all being at ease, with them not looking over their shoulder, wondering, is he going to be in this locker room next year? Is he going to get paid? Is he going to be disgruntled? No, they don't have to concern themselves with that because everybody's paid. Let's move forward with the pieces that we will have and that we will have to go with to training camp with, into the regular season with, and that we will try to win a Super Bowl and a Lombardi Trophy with, period. Nothing has changed. The mindset does not change, but the approach looks like, I got paid, it doesn't matter. Yeah. It does not matter. My expectations, my desires still are the same. That's why I love what the Dallas Cowboys have done in paying Dak Prescott. His mindset is still of winning a Super Bowl, and bringing success to the Dallas Cowboys.
Man, preach, guys, preach. We've seen some of the greats in this game. And when they get paid, time and time again, you don't see the lifestyle changes. And I'm not talking about cars and houses necessarily. I'm just talking about an approach, like you said, Greg, and work ethic. And you could think about them. Aaron Rodgers comes to mind. Aaron Rodgers works out here in Los Angeles. Aaron Rodgers is always grinding. Aaron Rodgers got hundreds and hundreds of $1 million to lay on, but he still approaches the game the same way. And last time I checked, Acho, I looked at his roster, looked pretty talented to me. Only one of 2 teams that had a top 5 rusher and a top 5 receiver. Dak's going to have enough. He's going to get what he needs to get out of what they got. Coming up, does the king need to rest? Then we come back. We'll tell you if we're worried. LeBron is just tired, boss. That's next. Don't speak for yourself.
He tired, boss.
He tired, boss.
The Lakers limped into All-Star break, losing 6 of the last 8 games, leading to questions if LeBron James needs some time off. He missed his first game last week and only played 13 minutes in the All-Star game. Now, the Lakers don't play again until Friday, and LeBron said, quote, "I'll take full advantage of the time that we have." Is it enough time? No, it's never enough time. We joined by NBA analyst extraordinaire, Slick Rick. Slick. Love the background. You look like you're in the sky.
That is cheesy.
But Marcellus.
Did he die? Slick is the ghost.
Marcellus, you up first.
What?
You worried about LeBron James being fatigued?
Oh, man. I am. Now, I always want to make a difference and differentiate between fatigue, tiredness, exhaustion. Let's talk about this right now because when you talk about fatigue, we're talking about a temporary loss of power, as they say, the temporary loss to respond to certain stimuli, an attitude, an indifference. Yeah, I'm out the dictionary with this because I had coaches tell me this before. Because you ever see somebody like, I'm tired. And then coaches are like, nah, you might just be exhausted. You might be fatigued, which is a deeper way to look at the same word. Now, what is LeBron going through right now? Struggle City. We know it. We saw LeBron lose 6 of his last 9 starts right before the All-Star break. What is LeBron going through right now? Score fewer than 20 points in 3 of his last 6 games. That's not normal LeBron, except if you look at LeBron last year, he did the same damn thing. Right before the All-Star break, we saw LeBron James, 3-point percentage, 25% this year. Last year, 23%. You look at LeBron James in terms of what he's doing, plus or minus, everything's being affected right around the midpoint of the season. Mr. Calculator, Mr. King, seems like he's running that same game plan that he ran last year. Now, last year, it worked to perfection. Why? He had AD with him. This year, AD's been in, but more out of the lineup. So when I talk about LeBron James and his fatigue, yeah, he's losing some of his powers right now. The court is shrunk. Everyone's focusing in on LeBron James. And he's like, man, I'm not going to swim against this current right here. I'm going to give you guys a little less because I can't give you guys any more. It'll be futile. But if you think that fatigue LeBron James is not going to wake up, respond to what comes forward when it comes playoff time, when AD comes back, that's where you are believing the wrong things. LeBron James fatigue right now? Yes, but he will change his tune going forward.
I don't think he's fatigued, Sel. I'm going to use the word you said and give it a phrase. I think he's a calculated king. That's what it is. It's not the fatigued king. It's all about calculations. What did we realize last year, Slick? What did we realize last year, Sel? Seeding doesn't matter. The Lakers played their butts off all season last year to get the #1 seed, just to get to the NBA Finals and face a team that was the 5th seed out the East. The Lakers played their butts off all year last year. They said, we're not going to take any time off during the regular season. We going full throttle. That home seat advantage, it will mean something. Then you realize y'all just walking from the hotel to the court about 200 yards away. So why am I going to waste all my energy and effort during the regular season when it is all going to be in vain come the postseason? Because at this junction in time, it's apparent that the postseason will look a little bit different than traditional postseasons. I think LeBron's just fully calculated. And I also think LeBron has this mindset. Finally, LeBron, if you can't beat him, join him. KD, he missed 18 games thus far this year. Kyrie, he missed 11 games this year. PG, he missed 11 games this year. Kawhi, he's missed 8 games this year. They've only played 37. So these players have missed anywhere from 50% of the games this year in KD to 30% of the games in Kyrie. They all gonna stroll into the NBA playoffs at the same time. And LeBron gonna stroll in there with 30% more mileage on his legs or 50% more mileage on his legs. And then people gonna say, oh, KD's clearly the best player in the world. No. KD's clearly the most rested player in the world. LeBron James isn't fatigued. He's just a calculated kid.
Hey, chill on that one, though, that last part.
No, I am not worried that LeBron is fatigued. I'm not worried about anything because I don't have a dog in this fight. But if I'm a Lakers fan or like Acho, I'm a LeBron fan, no, I'm not worried that LeBron is fatigued. I'm worried that LeBron is 36 years old. I'm worried that Father Time may finally be tapping him on the shoulder based on what I saw in the athletic comparison in the All-Star game. I'm worried that Marc Gasol is washed. I'm worried that Montrezl Harrell is a bad fit. I'm worried that Wes Matthews is a downgrade from Danny Green. And more than anything, I'm worried that maybe offense is going to dictate who the best team in the league is rather than defense. And the Lakers, while they are first defensively in efficiency, they are 17th in offense. And they would have to go through multiple teams. There are 5 teams in the top 5, the Nets, the Clippers, the Jazz, the Nuggets. All of those teams are potentially in the way of the Lakers. So there are things for me to worry about, or rather for Lakers and Acho, Lakers fans and Acho to worry about. But I don't have the fatigue of LeBron to worry about.
All right, Slick. Maybe you're not worried, but he can still be fatigued, and they're not mutually exclusive. So that's why I'm answering this question. Yes, he's fatigued, but I'm not worried as well. But we have to understand what fatigue is in this moment. This is what all old, fatigued, exhausted, tired people say. Yeah, I can do it, but I just don't want to. You know why? Because you start picking your spots. Boy, when I was 21 years old, I remember every day in practice, and it still hurts me. I used to look at Thurman Thomas and Andre Reed, Bruce Smith, Ted Washington, Bryce Pop, all the greats. And they used to look back at me and be like, you need to slow your ass down. Because I was a energizer bunny because I was 21. Then I got a little older, and I started to realize what they were talking about. You start picking your spots. It starts in practice. You be like, yeah, I got that. No. You know I'm their coach. Chill. And then you get in the game. You really watch the game, you start seeing them pick their spots as well, because all of a sudden you're running a different race in your head. You're in conservation mode. This is why LeBron James is exhausted right now, fatigued right now, because he has to pick his spots. Young LeBron James would have just throttled through all of this, with or without AD. And my last point is interesting for LeBron James and his mental calculation. The expectations are title or bust for this team because they're the champions. LeBron knows that when he came to LA year 1 without AD, he didn't win a damn thing. Got injured in the process. Then AD shows up and he wins it all. Now there's no AD. Come on, y'all. The ego of all athletes, let alone the king, is sitting there a little challenged like, let me show some people out there who I am and what this team is still as me being the engine. However, when you're exhausted, when you're old, when you're tired, whatever you want to call it, you start picking those spots and not taking advantage of those moments.
You know what he really picked, the way he picked his spots early on was he was shooting the 3 really well. And this is what worries me, is that we're seeing the 3-point shot become maybe the most critical element you can have. And the Lakers are shooting 24th in that department, while you've got the Clippers, the Jazz, the Nuggets, all shooting top 5. And defensively, the Jazz and the Nuggets defend the 3 better than the Lakers. If LeBron's not shooting the 3 well and the Lakers collectively aren't, that's another element that we could see being a difference maker this year.
Man, this hurts me to hear the Lakers struggle. Ha! No, it doesn't. All right, after the break, we're getting back to Dak. Poor Acho. We'll give you our biggest takeaway from his record-breaking contract. That's next on Speak for Yourself.
Welcome back. The 49ers say Jimmy Garoppolo is their quarterback for next season, but his name has been in trade rumors, including with his former team, the New England Patriots. The Boston Sports Journal reports Jimmy G is, quote, still far and away their plan A. Now, if the Niners decide to move him, Garoppolo spent his first 3.5 seasons in New England backing up Tom Brady. So that's something to keep in mind. So, Sal, let's talk about these Patriots, because, boy, they had it rough last year.
Man, chill.
Should they try to go all in on Jimmy G?
No. Not at all. You know I love me some Jimmy G. Cute.
You do?
Good-looking dude. A winner. He's helping Kyle Shanahan out tremendously.
True.
Because without Jimmy G in the lineup, Kyle Shanahan and this team struggles. So I think what John Lynch said is something that we need to listen to. John Lynch said he has no doubt that Jimmy G will be his starter next year. But why is this a conversation? It's simple. Money. Follow the money. He has no more guaranteed money on his contract. Interesting. There's a $2.8 million dead cap. Interesting. And people are digging up old-ass quotes on Bill Belichick from 2016 about, unless you were actually looking at the position, Jimmy G could go out there and do everything that Tom Brady does. Okay, that was 2016. This is 2021. Obviously, we know the offensive issues and woes they had last year with Cam Newton. I get it. 30th or lower in yards, attempts, touchdown passes. Shut up. Because Jimmy G is not going anywhere. And if you're going to do anything with that $60+ million, I ain't talking to you right now. Take care of your roster and build it around Cam Newton. Give him a real offseason, not a virtual offseason, and see what you can do. Make that blossom.
Man, so here's the problem, bro. You know you're fighting a uphill battle when you just, shut up. Like, you're arguing.
Come on.
You know it's a problem. The Patriots, I think they should go all in on Jimmy G, because what's your alternative? Cam Newton. We saw how that played out. Now, yes, COVID offseason and all these other excuses, but Cam Newton. The other alternative, Jared Stidham. The other alternative, draft a quarterback, but I don't even think Bill Belichick trusts himself to draft the right quarterback, because that's, you flipping a coin right there. You almost have to think, if you can go all into a guy who you're familiar with, a guy who Bill Belichick loved and wanted to replace Tom Brady with, Jimmy G, was that 2014, if I'm not mistaken. Then, it only makes sense. You look at the landscape if you're the Patriots. You need a great quarterback to compete in the AFC East. Bill's got the AFC East right now, big dog. Be real. They got the AFC East on lock. The Dolphins are ascending rapidly. The Jets, they're the Jets. So if you're the Patriots, you understand the only way you can compete is if you have a competent quarterback. If nothing else, Jimmy G has proved he's competent. I don't think he is elite, but I think that Jimmy G is competent. Competent enough to at least put the Patriots back in contention for something.
Oh, really? He's competent, huh? I think he's more than competent, but let's just go with your word, competent. What's the greatest ability, Emmanuel Acho?
Availability, sir.
Availability. Oh, Jimmy G, are you available for the 49ers? You have missed 23 games over the last 3 seasons in the West Coast weather. 70 degrees in January, 60 degrees in December, and Jimmy G still sitting there on the sidelines, injured. The hell you think you're gonna do in that brisk Boston? Them brittle bones ain't gonna survive out there. Stop telling me about 2016 Belichick love for Jimmy G. How about your love for your ex in 2016? Is it the same?
She was a good person, actually.
Yeah, she was. I love that was, because
she's married. Jimmy G. She's married. I can't have affections for somebody else, a married woman.
Damn,
see,
I'm thinking about this a lot.
I gotta watch you, Seth.
Wait a minute. You watching her a little
Jimmy
too
G
tough.
they're not still betrothed to each other.
They're not.
Jimmy G and the Niners are no longer betrothed.
Well, wait a minute. If the 49ers want to have the same success that they had before, they better use the same guy that they had.
The dollars are gone, Sal. They took away the engagement band. So it's like y'all committed, but y'all not really committed. They took away the real rock and gave you one of the plastic joints you play with during the games.
Wait. Chill out. I'm going to tell you this right now, Acho. Y'all went to the promised land. Y'all almost won it all with Jimmy G. Now you're just going to let him go? How would you do that? How you going to get back there? You need Jimmy G. You need him healthy. Dak Prescott got paid, but now what? We'll tell you if it's Super Bowl or bust for the Cowboys. That's next. Speak for yourself. Relationships not based just on money, dog.
She is married, though. She's great.
Dak Prescott got a massive long-term deal, but with big money comes bigger expectations. Dak has one playoff win during his 5 seasons in Dallas, and the franchise has not been to the NFC Championship game, as Acho always reminds me, in 25 seasons. So, Acho, is it Super Bowl or bust right now for the Cowboys?
It absolutely is Super Bowl or bust, but Marcellus, we notice it's been Super Bowl or bust for the Cowboys every year. What Mike McCarthy say the second he showed up in Dallas? Literally his words, not mine. If you're not trying to win the Super Bowl, I don't know what you're even doing in this business. Mike McCarthy's words, these are not mine. Every year, Super Bowl or bust. I was born in 1990 in the middle of the Cowboys on the brink of their excellence. I was born in Dallas, Medical City Hospital, as the Cowboys was just about to start winning them chips. I understand what it's like to be in Dallas. I've worked for the Cowboys before. It's always Super Bowl or bust. The difference is now there are weight behind the words. Sometimes people make empty threats. Oh, man, if you don't show up again, Marcellus, we're done. That's it. I'm taking the kids and I'm leaving. Sal, if you late again today, I'm quitting. Speak for you. Ain't nobody going nowhere. Okay, everybody stop. Ain't nobody going nowhere. But now there's true weight behind these Cowboys' words. Dak Prescott, $160 million man, highest paid. Zeke, you were the highest paid at the time. DeMarcus Lawrence, you were the highest paid when you got paid. Amari Cooper, you were the highest paid when you got paid. Jalen Smith, you were top 10 linebacker. We got 5 of y'all who are all the highest paid when y'all got paid. At least one of y'all might not have been. Now there's true weight behind these words. No more excuses. There's too much cash for that. Super Bowl or bust.
Man, stop. You got lost in that podium talk. Everybody, Mike McCarthy going there. As soon as he get a job, he's so happy. He Super Bowl or bust. You believe that podium talk? No, it's not Super Bowl or bust. It never is. Everyone's aspiration, everyone's goal is to win a Super Bowl. But realistically, you have a 1 in 32 chance. Now, some teams feel like, hey, we've loaded the dice. If you're the Kansas City Chiefs or right now the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah, but still, 31 teams go home with a frown, and one has their frown upside down. That's how the game goes. Acho, who makes the most money? Patrick Mahomes? Was it Super Bowl or bust last year? Because if so, he was a bust. Patrick Mahomes was a bust. Who's second highest paid before Dak? Deshaun Watson. In Houston? Bust, 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 bust every year going forward for how long? And speaking of podium talk, what did Deshaun Watson say when he got paid? I like to thank Cal McNair. That's what I'm saying to you. No one's telling you the truth, Acho, but you out here believing it. You remind me of some of my boys who always would project what they wanted on who they met. Fine woman, beautiful woman. Oh, my God, my dog come back. Man, guess who I saw at Thrifty's? I was like, who? He was like, woo! She was there. Keisha? Oh, man, she's so fine. And, man, she's so cool. She's so nice. She's so smart. I said, wait a minute. All you know is she fine. Get to know the rest of that. You over there looking at Dak because he's the highest paid. All of a sudden, he got to do everything else. Everything comes with Dak. Is Dak going to save this 26th ranked pass blocking offensive line, 29th ranked run blocking line? Oh, my God, 28th scoring defense in the NFL? Dak can't do all that. So how is this Super Bowl a bust? This is a part of the process, a building block to get into the ultimate goal.
Here's why. It's because you can't have the highest paid quarterback at the time he got paid, the highest paid running back at the time he got paid, the highest paid receiver at the time he got paid, 2 future Hall of Fame offensive linemen, plus another first-round pick at wide receiver, plus another third-round pick, 1,000-yard wide receiver, and have nothing to show for it. Like, if you're the Dallas Cowboys, when you look at it, when you lay all your cards on the deck, you really have 4 offensive players, at least 3 offensive players that were the highest paid at the time they got paid within the last 3 years. I need something to show for it besides fanciful nothings, besides a dope game on Thanksgiving, and besides, some phenomenal cheerleaders that the whole world is like, oh, my God, yes. I need something more than that. I need something more than a star on a helmet. I need something more than a cool stadium. I just need something more to hang my hat on. And the only thing I can hang my hat on is a Super Bowl. It's always Super Bowl or bust, but finally, Sal, I think those words mean something.
Man, it ain't just good enough that Keisha's fine, huh? Keisha gotta be valedictorian, too. She gotta be the best person you ever met. She's just fine. Let everything else take care of itself. You over here hating the player. Hate the game, bro. Everybody got paid, so y'all got to do it. That's not how the NFL works. I think the Saints last year spent the most money against the cap, 2021 projections. Did they win it all? Patrick Mahomes, individual player. Did he win it all? The point is, you can't use money as your metric and your only basis to why you achieve greatness. Sometimes it takes others. Dak is part of it, but he's not by himself. Coming up, could Odell Beckham Jr. and Tom Brady become teammates in Tampa? That's interesting. We'll tell you if OBJ will be a good fit with the Bucs. Next, don't speak for yourself.
Well, it does not look like the Bucs are settling after their Super Bowl win. Adam Schefter says Tom Brady might even want Odell Beckham Jr. in Tampa. But he added it would be challenging due to the cap hit. OBJ is recovering from a season-ending torn ACL. Also being reported, Levante David just signed a new contract with the Bucs. So the Bucs ain't stopping now, Marcellus. Let me ask you this, though. Would Odell Beckham be a good fit for Brady's Bucs?
Yes, you think? Imagine this, Acho. We still in the league. First of all, damn, I'm on the bench deep. Look at this. This ain't going to work. And we're sitting there, and we go out to practice, and Acho like, come on, Wiley, hurry up. I'm like, all right. I grab my helmet and stuff. And OBJ is on the practice field. Do you think our team is better or worse? I think it's better. OBJ on your team is an abundance of riches. This is a tremendous luxury, but it's not going to happen. Tom Brady, get used to the fact that you can't always get what you want. You remember those days in New England?
Isn't that a song?
Is it? Who?
Who is it? Who is that? No, somebody tell me if that's a song.
Oh, God. Well, we are different eras. Did the Pac make it? So here's the thing. If I'm looking at Tom Brady and his history with Bill Belichick, sooner than later, he's going to have to run into that wall once again of, no, Tom. You got what you wanted last year. Gronk, obviously, out of retirement. You got Antonio Brown. But you remember Wes Welker? Remember when you took that haircut for Wes Welker and you told the Patriots, hey, that money's for Wes Welker? Wes Welker went to Denver on your butt. So that's where I'm at right there. This is a great situation, but it won't happen. You can't get your way.
I think it would be a great fit. So I'm not convinced they can't get his way. Why? Because Tom Brady's found a way to get his way with AB. Found a way to lure Gronk back. Find a way to get his way with Fournette. I understand the cap this. I understand the cap that. But OBJ, what left does he have to prove individually? At this point in time, he went to Cleveland. He served his time. Now, so it's time for him to try to get a ring.
Oh, I thought you believed in Baker. Why you going to let Baker lose his boy? That's it for us. This boy lying. Fox Bet Live next.